Hey, welcome back. We're at Misty Mountain Games in the semifinals of the finals of the Misty Mountain Finals. And in this semifinals match, where we have Peter McGrain on the left playing Sligh and Ethan Poellinger playing Goblins on the right. Peter, I think, is from Racine or Milwaukee, one of those places. And Ethan's from lacrosse, so they're opposite ends of the state if you know your Wisconsin geography. We just saw the last semifinal match that was Aaron played against Andrew Huskins. Andrew. Oh, and also I'm once again joined by Michael Heup, the Cloud Goat Ranger.
Hey everyone. Yeah, we get to see lots of red. Lots of red was in this top 8, and it's been doing well. The Sligh decks are advancing. We have Goblins up against Sligh, and
Classic.
Ethan is the higher seed, I believe. I could be wrong on that.
I think Ethan is the higher.
Yes.
seed.
So Ethan was the 3 seed, while Peter was the 7. So he'll have the option to go first.
And you've been in this position before, right? Goblins versus red.
Yeah. I play Goblins a lot. The main difference is a lot of times that I play Goblins, I have Ancient Tomb in my deck, which this is probably the matchup where that hurts the most.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ethan has that on his list. I'm going to make sure players know that they can start. You guys are good to start whenever.
They'll be starting soon.
Yeah, so that's the biggest difference is I play Ancient Tomb, which is really painful in this matchup. And so I think that hurts my Sligh matchup a lot more. But I think in general, I think the Sligh deck is a little bit advantaged, but it's really close.
I always think the Goblins. I used to think the Sligh deck was advantaged, and now I kind of think the Goblins deck is advantaged.
All right.
But I don't know, it depends.
One thing is your Goblin Lackey is very unlikely to connect. But yeah. I mean, it demands a removal spell, and it means that they are spending their turn killing a creature rather than developing the board, kind of thing.
Yeah. Who's the beatdown, Mike Flores?
I think the Goblins deck is the beatdown. I guess like the one element is Goblin Ringleader is where I think Goblins is just the beatdown that the Ringleader plays a big role that it can turn a corner of when the Sligh deck is trying to play control, that Goblin Ringleader can replenish and be like, well, you're no longer able to outcard me because I just drew 3 cards off a Goblin Ringleader.
I think Goblins is the control. I think Sligh has to get in a spot where it's threatening the Goblin's life total before Goblins can get to get its card advantage stuff going. It's token puking, Goblin puking powers.
All right, Grim Lavamancer is going to be Peter's play. He's got double fetch land, so he's got a little bit of fuel to activate that.
Mm-hmm. You think the red deck has to kill all the Goblins that the Goblins deck plays?
So all of them. I mean, I've tried matrons you don't need to kill, but lackeys and war chiefs, and I guess technically pile driver if it stays by itself, that's not a problem. But I mean, most of them are problems, like lackeys, Mogg Fanatics, war chiefs, even CJ and commanders. They're all annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Peter's going to use the Grim Lavamancer to take out the Grim Lava, or to take out the pile driver. In response, it looks like Ethan's going to use the Gem Palm Incinerator. So one thing I'll note,
that's a good sequence.
Yeah,
Ethan.
I would say that. Yeah, so Gem Palm Incinerator. There are definitely certain board states where you're doing for the exact amount of damage, and if Peter has burn spells in his hand, he can disrupt that element and not have it kill. So I like the timing of that.
Yeah. Ethan was gonna play some sweet blue, white, green control deck, but then he didn't think it was there yet, so he said, I'm playing Goblins, it's boring. That's what he told me this morning.
I actually think Goblins is a really interesting deck to play.
It's so fun. I can play Goblins all day.
There are a lot of positions where you have a lot of decisions. So there are certain aggressive decks where your plays feel kind of scripted, like where you just curve out or whatever. I don't feel like Goblins is like that, partially because you can reduce the cost of cards like Goblin War Chief and change your curve, but then also them having haste also makes a huge difference. So I just feel like the games are just really dynamic. We see a ringleader, it's going to get 2 War Chiefs and a lackey, and a Wasteland will go to the bottom, and a 2/2 will come in for 2 and knock Peter down to 15. So that's kind of like that, element that we talked about. If the Sligh deck has to play the control game, suddenly Ethan's adding a 4-mana 2/2 that also drew him 3 cards.
Peter's getting fun of this game. He has like all mountains in hand.
He'll add another Grim Lavamancer and then pass a turn. I will note that Ethan has 2 Rishan ports and then 2 mountains, so the double War Chief that's in his hand aren't so easily deployed because of all the red pips. But it looks like we at least have the ability to go War Chief into Lackey, and that will force a response from Peter. Otherwise, that War Chief might come into play.
They might want to trade this Lavamancer for the Lackey, because if Ethan has anything better than that War Chief, he's in real trouble. And if he just puts the War Chief into play, he's just in trouble, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just kind of the worst case scenario is pretty bad. So, yeah, the Grim Lavamancer does get in the way of the Lackey. 4 damage comes through as the 1/1s trade. And Peter's going to go to his next turn. Yeah, it still looks like he has a lot of lands in his hand.
Sure does. He can't even get Threshold because he hasn't drawn enough spells. Yeah, it's sad.
All right, Incinerate will be deployed at the War Chief that's in play. That will leave Ethan just with a Ringleader at the start of this turn, but he's got a War Chief that we know about, plus... Okay, so he'll start with a War Chief. Okay, and then just attack, because I think he's got like 3 other cards in his hand.
It's a 7 to 14. He does. They both have just a lot of lands, though. It's a Mossfire Valley.
Yep.
Which we don't approve of.
So in this situation, I'll just say, like, if you're counting it as a red source, I think a lot of time it doesn't count as a red, because unless you have a colorless source like Rishan Import, it doesn't actually add red mana.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you're filtering red into red-green. So, and I don't think the green mana is that demanding in this deck. You usually play like 2 Naturalize. So, all right. CJ and Commander coming down. They have haste. So a lot of pressure, a lot of damage, and Peter scoops it up as Ethan takes down game 1. All right. Do we know anything about their sideboards, how it's composed, if they have any tools that might be helpful in this matchup? So there's different ways to do it. So like Lava Dart is a card that's sometimes in the sideboard of the Sligh decks. The problem is like, besides Goblin Lackey, there aren't too many 1 toughness creatures that are super problematic. Like Goblin Sharpshooter might be the next one, but that one's pretty easy to kill anyways. And there's only 1. Because otherwise, most of the goblins are 2 toughness. I guess Mogg Fanatic sometimes is an issue if you're trying to apply pressure, because it's going to always take out like a Grim Lavamancer or a Ball Lightning, which I don't even know if would stay in the deck.
I think Fanatic's the most critical card. I also think Ball Lightning's pretty important. Like, there's times where if the Sligh and Goblins decks are just like 1-for-1ing each other, like that's kind of what the Goblin deck wants to happen. The Goblin deck has to worry about Sligh turning a corner where it can just like start shooting them, you know. And Ball Lightning's kind of how a way that Sligh does that. I think I would never. I don't think I would ever take out balls in this matchup.
I mean, it's
because I have to beat down. Sligh. What are you saying?
There's just times like you have to remove every Mogg Fanatic, and if they ever have, I guess the thing is the Goblins deck does tap out a lot, so they're not often leaving 2 mana up, where Gem Palm Incinerator is something you can use defensively. So maybe that's true.
I want to let everybody know that this is clearly the semifinals of the.
Yeah, this is the other semifinal. So we did hold
on the screen.
We did hold the other semifinal so that we could broadcast both of them.
Yeah. Other one won by Aaron Dix is going to be a finalist today in striking distance of.
Yeah, finally made its first top 8 at Misty Mountain.
Title. He made a top 8 and he's not wasting it.
Yep.
Making a run. So yeah, we got probably a lot of lava darts coming in from Sligh, I would guess.
I was saying I don't even know if they're that good though. They kill lackeys and that's about it. Like all the problematic cards have 2 toughness. The War Chiefs and the Sieging Commanders.
That makes sense. It's
the
kind
pile
of like
drivers.
Engineered Plague, you know.
Yeah.
Isn't so hot. Let's look at Ethan's Goblin stack.
I mean, I don't even know what tools you would really want against the red deck. Oh, he's got a couple Color the Claws, which might be a card that you bring in.
I think so.
I
like it.
Maybe
the Goblin King for sure, right?
Sure. I guess the
affects their goblins too.
Yeah, I would say if they have Mogg Fanatics, then they might be walking on your mountains but
well, you get to choose when you play it, right?
Yeah.
I might not play it in a double Mogg Fanatic. Probably. You got it. You got it. Eat.
All right, so
Peter will be on the play here.
What card is he most looking for? I mean, probably Mogg Fanatic.
I thought you said it's not that good. I think Ethan wants Mogg Fanatic so he doesn't get a run over early. I think Peter wants the Ball Lightnings.
That's
Ball Light.
I'm just saying that it's the best card at the beginning that you can apply pressure and take out Lackey or Skirk Prospector, but I wouldn't want Lava Dart. I mean, Mogg Fanatic attacks where Lava Dart doesn't. So.
Is Lava Dart better or worse than Jackal Pup in this matchup?
I think it's worse. Jackal Pup can can block the creature. I mean, you're not gonna block a pile driver, but could block a War Chief. I guess you'd sack a mountain, and I don't know. You'd rather have Lava Dart?
I don't know.
I mean, there might also be,
sure.
Especially on the play, there might be instances where you get to deploy a Jackal Pup and play the aggressive game where you take out their first goblin and attack, and take out their second goblin and attack. And Lava Dart doesn't give you that option.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Pup, you probably want Pup. You just might kill other creatures anyway, right?
All right, Ethan looking at his hand. This is his first opening hand, right? So, he did mulligan one. So he puts one card at the bottom, and we'll kick things off. Peter's gonna lead with it is a fetch land. So Bloodstained Mire is gonna. Oh, we're gonna pass the turn. Okay.
He's got a hot hand here.
Skirk Prospector is the first turn play from Ethan. One of the cards that I and both BK also a big fan of.
This is a power goblin.
I think this guy doesn't get enough respect, and it makes certain board states just really interesting. It's with the combination of this card and Siege Chain Commander, just very good.
Peter goes Faith. He's like, just try to stop me.
Well, it just could be that he has a very efficient hand, and he might feel that he's able to out-tempo Ethan. But also, we saw him kind of try to play the control game before, and it didn't work as well. So,
yeah. He's got a Fireblast. I think he has Fireblast bolt.
All right, Prospector comes in for 1. That'll knock Peter down to 18. And then Corplusion Forest is going to have 2 mana, which means Pile Driver comes down on turn 2.
Okay.
And that's a card that's certainly
a reasonable clock, right?
Yeah, if if you're trying to play the aggressive game, then like Ethan, just from this board state, is dealing 4 a turn. So yeah, it's gonna demand an answer. So Shock is gonna take care of the pile driver.
It's a Vortex.
Ooh, Sulfuric Vortex. That's interesting. I mean, because the Goblins deck tends to deal damage in bigger chunks, while the Sligh does it more incrementally. But Peter taking some amount of damage might like take a turn off from the self-inflicted damage.
Yeah, I think it's good for Sligh to have this
Yeah.
play in here.
Overall, yes, I agree. But there definitely seems like there might be times where it could be problematic.
Import him.
Yep. Oh.
Oh.
Interesting. Well, so
You might have
Jump Home Incinerator.
Jump Home Incinerator just doesn't want to get ball lightning.
Oh, a naturalized. Okay.
Natural. I think Peter has 3.
Well, I don't think he's got enough mountains to sacrifice for that.
He
But
has 3. 2 more lands. And full damage.
all right, Ethan adds a mountain, so he's got 4 total mana. So that now means that Goblin War Chief can come down, and he'll take a point to add a lackey.
Peter looks at his Fireblast again.
He might be happy to deploy it. Are there no cards in Ethan's hand currently? Okay.
No.
All right, so the lackey isn't quite so scary.
Not a damn.
Yeah. Just a 1/1 haster with the War Chief in play.
Right. Peter doing his best. I might remove something impression.
So you're attacking for 5 here. You're on a 3-turn clock. Peter just takes it all. So there is a Mogg Fanatic in place, so it still could deal 1 damage at any time. But I guess this is, unless Ethan draws a Matron or a Pile Driver, I think this is a 2-turn clock. Ooh, a CJ Commander, I think also would be 5 damage.
Yeah.
Sharpshooter.
Yeah, if you draw CJ, he's that.
Sharpshooter would also be enough. Assuming like Peter didn't do anything to.
Yeah. There's a lot. He's has a lot of live draws.
Yeah.
I think Peter picked up an Incinerate, which means he just draws them out. He's got the win. A mount. 4, 8, 11.
So end of turn,
12,
you're saying
13.
go to 10, and then yeah, okay, that makes sense. This is the attack down to 5. Though, does Russian import make things more difficult for that sequence? I guess not.
It does, because
You could tap the Barbarian Ring,
yeah, you can tap Barbarian Ring.
but then you could. Okay, I think that's actually the play here.
Yeah, I mean, Peter can stack 2 mountains and Fireblast. I don't think it. Did he do that end of turn?
I don't know. It looked like it. Okay. I guess this denies here, but then okay, you're just looking to draw a mountain then. Yep. Getting poured in upkeep. And it's not there. And so
It was a shock. So yeah, he was gonna be 2 points short.
okay. So yeah, so Peter set up a position where he said, okay, I'm gonna draw a mountain for my other Fireblast.
Yeah.
It was not there. And so the Goblins takes it down 2-0. So yeah, we have our final set. So now we have Ethan Poellinger with the Goblins deck will be up against Aaron Dix against another Sligh. So we'll see if Ethan will be able to do the same in the finals, or if Aaron's going to be able to overcome and take his first Misty's title as in his first Misty top 8.
And we're heading to the Misty Mountain Finals now.
Yeah. So now it will be clear.
Now
everyone.
it will be it should be very clear now that we are in the finals. ×2.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with the finals of the Misty Mountain Finals.